By the way, one thing that's not part of the infrastructure bill, but it's sort of health infrastructure. We finally, after years and years, were able to take on big pharma. Any of you who know anybody who has type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, raise your hand if you know anybody. Well, guess what? You've been paying $400 to $500 a vial for that insulin you need to stay alive. Well, guess what? Now they cannot charge you more than 35 bucks. 35 bucks. Because it costs them only $10 to make.
Trump's Department of Health and Human Services finalized an insulin rule in December of 2020 and scheduled it to take effect January 22nd, 2021. But Biden took office on January 20th. His administration issued a freeze on the rule and a bunch of others that were still pending from the Trump administration, so he could have his people look them over before letting them take effect. This is common practice when a new admin takes office. After a months-long review process, the Biden administration decided to rescind the rule, preventing it from going into effect. So we can verify, yes, the Biden administration stopped an executive order issued by President Trump that intended to make insulin more affordable.
You know, I know you see on television, it's not just merely the weapon in terms of that it's semi-automatic in effect, but the velocity with which it comes out of that muzzle, what it does when it hits the body. Most bullets would go just straight through and out, leaving little, but it blows up once it's inside your body.
Absolutely
wrong.
What in God's name? What in God's name does anyone need that for in America? Before the pandemic, supply chain wasn't something most Americans thought about. And when it said supply chains, you look at each other with a blank stare. Well, guess what? Everybody knows what the supply chain is, because today, after delays in parts and products, folks experience that everyone knows. That's why it's so important. You have to have access to them. But guess what? They're talking about not paying our debt, which has accumulated over 200 years. All this, when you hear these trillion-dollar numbers, that's 200 years of debt accumulated.
Come on. Come on, man.
They want to repeal the Inflation Reduction Act, which means they want to cut the investments in clean energy manufacturing and encourage companies to expand and create jobs instead of create jobs here. They want to cede our clean energy future to China to make us dependent on overseas supplies and supply chains, export jobs overseas, and weaken our energy security.
I don't know what the percentage of what China produces.
All right, well, I'm telling you right now, it's 63%
of
rare earth mining will stipulate to it. Okay. By deductive reasoning, that would mean that electric vehicles and renewables deepen our reliance on China, correct?
Yes. Okay.
Knowing this, your department blocked critical minerals in Rapid Creek watershed, correct?
Okay.
They did, correct?
Okay.
I mean, it's your department, and you banned critical mineral mining.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.